Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So, if you're looking to understand the absolute bleeding edge of display technology today, you're in the exact right place. We are diving into a chapter-wise review of a seriously impressive piece of hardware, the ROG Swift PG27 AQW-P-G Edition 20 OLED gaming monitor. This whole explainer is really focused entirely on the pursuit of uncompromised speed and visual fidelity. We've got some wildly fascinating engineering to cover, so let's just get right into it. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to break this review down into 6 logical chapters. First, the Anniversary Edition design, then Tandem OLED visuals, dual mode speed unlocked, protecting your investment, next-gen connectivity, and finally, we'll wrap up with the final verdict. All right, let's kick things off right at the surface level with Chapter 1, the Anniversary Edition, celebrating 20 years of Republic of Gamers history. Okay, let's dive into this setup, because this specific 27-inch model, it's not just another piece of tech rolling off an assembly line. It's a celebration. The physical beauty here is honestly striking. Just look at that exclusive gold-plated trim on the back casing and the base of the stand. It totally gives the hardware this premium, highly collectible aesthetic that, really sets it apart from your standard everyday matte black gaming monitors. I mean, it absolutely commands attention before you even turn the thing on. Now, let's transition over to the actual tech that brings those pixels to life in Chapter 2, Tandem OLED visuals, delivering 4 layers of brilliance. So we see a lot of complex marketing jargon in the tech space, right? Let's simply break down what a Tandem OLED panel actually means for you as a user. Basically, instead of the standard single-layer light-emitting approach we're all used to, ASUS went ahead and engineered a 4-layer OLED panel design. Now, why is this a game changer? Well, because sharing the electrical load across multiple layers inherently boosts the overall performance and efficiency. It allows this monitor to deliver a 15% brighter output, which, as we know, has historically been a bit of a weak point for OLEDs. Plus, because those individual layers aren't being pushed to their absolute thermal limits, you get this incredible 60% extended lifespan. And yep, that means a greatly reduced risk of burn-in. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of that multi-layered technology. When you compare the two, you can see exactly what that 15% brightness increase looks like in a practical in-game scenario. Those highlights, the glow of the planetary rings, the distant stars, they just punch through with so much more intensity. What that means is high dynamic range isn't just some spec sheet bullet point anymore. It translates to a significantly more vibrant, immersive visual experience. And it does it without washing out the rest of the image. Speaking of the image, we absolutely have to talk about the panel coating itself. What's really interesting here is this zero-haze true black glossy panel. Historically, glossy OLED panels look incredible in pitch black rooms, sure, but they kind of turn into highly distracting mirrors if you even have a single lamp on. But this specific zero-haze coating, it's actually designed to physically cut reflections by a massive 38%. So you get to keep that incredible color pop and contrast of a glossy display, but those legendary deep OLED blacks aren't totally ruined by ambient lighting in a brighter room. Let's actually look at how this glossy panel performs in a real-world, high-end gaming environment. Notice how perfectly clean the screen remains, even with that aggressive purple ambient RGB light casting all over the room. It integrates so seamlessly. It gives you a perfectly clear window into the game world without acting like a funhouse mirror. Really impressive stuff. All right, let's build some excitement for the absolute climax of this hardware review. Chapter 3, Dual Mode Speed Unlocked. We are shifting gears for esports. Let's see how this builds on the foundation of that OLED panel we just talked about. With this monitor, you are no longer locked into one single resolution and refresh rate paradigm. It actually features a revolutionary dual mode capability. Think of it kind of like shifting gears in a high-performance sports car. When you're playing a visually rich, narrative single-player game, you can run the monitor at 540 Hz in a crisp QHD resolution for ultimate detail. But if you drop into a high-stakes competitive shooter, you can literally shift gears down to an HD resolution to unlock a mind-bending, raw esports speed of 720 Hz. 720! It just gives competitive gamers this incredible, uncompromised power of choice. But hey, with that much raw power, we probably need to bring the energy back down to earth for a second to discuss the practicalities of maintaining a premium monitor over time. So, Chapter 4, Protecting Your Investment with OLED Care Pro. I know exactly what many of you focused learners are thinking right now. You're saying, but what about OLED burn-in, right? It is absolutely the elephant in the room whenever we discuss this specific display tech, especially for gaming, where you have static HUDs like health bars or mini-maps just sitting on the screen for hours on end. It's a completely valid and vital question to ask before investing. So the crucial point here is how ASUS actually tackles this with built-in hardware solutions. The monitor utilizes what they call OLED Care Pro, which interestingly features a physical proximity sensor. Basically, when you step away from your desk to grab a drink or just take a breather, the sensor detects your absence and automatically dims the screen. It is physically protecting the panel from static image retention when you aren't even there to use it. And when you combine this automated dimming with that 4-layer tandem design we covered earlier, it all ties together perfectly to deliver that 60% extended lifespan. Before we dive into the heavy bandwidth numbers, let's just take a quick look at the monitor's physical footprint. Standing tall on this premium desk setup, you can see the stand base is pretty angular and aggressive, but it actually leaves plenty of room on the desk surface itself. And that is a critical design choice for competitive gamers. If you play with low mouse sensitivities, you know you need literally every square inch of mousepad space you can get your hands on. Moving right along to Chapter 5, Next-Gen Connectivity. We need to talk about the data pipeline required to actually drive up to 720 frames per second. To push this staggering amount of visual data to the screen, this monitor utilizes DisplayPort 2.1a, which delivers a massive 80 gigabits per second of bandwidth. Now, the benefit-driven why here is incredibly important for us to grasp. Having 80 Gbps means you do not have to rely on aggressive display stream compression just to hit those 540 or 720 frame rates. You're getting pure, uncompressed visual clarity. You aren't sacrificing image quality just to achieve the speed. You are genuinely getting the best of both worlds at the exact same time. So we've covered the design, the OLED tech, the dual mode speed, and the connectivity. Let's transition into our final chapter to summarize this whole value proposition. Chapter 6, the final verdict. Is it actually worth the upgrade? A quote from the Gadget Flow editor sums this up pretty perfectly. A serious pick for competitive gamers. This definitive statement clearly establishes the target audience here. I mean, look, if you play casual games a few hours a week, this monitor is probably going to be overkill. But if you play highly competitive titles where absolute minimum input lag, crystal clear motion clarity, and hyper-fast refresh rates are quite literally the difference between winning and losing, then this incredibly specialized piece of hardware is built squarely for you. And of course, specialized cutting-edge hardware comes with a premium investment. The monitor carries a $1,699 price tag alongside a very high 9.5 rating from Gadget Flow. But when you step back and look at the whole package, the gold-plated 20th anniversary design, that ultra-durable 4-layer tandem OLED panel, the mind-bending 720 Hz dual-mode capability, and the uncompressed DisplayPort bandwidth, it becomes very clear how the sheer amount of bleeding-edge tech we just reviewed easily justifies the investment for these serious enthusiasts. Which brings us to our conclusion, and I really want to leave you with a provocative thought here. We know for a fact the hardware is capable of pushing the absolute limits of speed, but are your reflexes fast enough for 720 Hz? As monitor technology systematically eliminates motion blur and input lag entirely, it really feels like the only bottleneck left in the equation is human reaction time itself. Just something to think about next time you log in to play. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I will catch you in the next one.